Ladies and gentlemen,
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society, and we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means. I am asking your help in the tremendous task of informing and alerting the American people.
You're just seeing the tip of the iceberg peeking out from the ocean top. I told you, all personalities in the field of great influence are initiated members of Freemasonry. Otherwise they wouldn't be there. Within 60 seconds of me telling you what international Freemasonry really is, I'll prove it to you. Unequivocally, within 60 seconds. And then I'm going to drive it home, and then I'm going to show you what they're planning with this new age they're implementing, and then the conclusion, which is by far the most important part of this presentation. So when you hear me tell you the truth in just a moment, don't switch off in disbelief because you can't believe that your favorite idol or whoever could possibly be involved, like you know them or something. You don't know these people. You do know that they're under oath never to reveal their beliefs to you. The vile multitude. It's time to trust your eyes now, not your feelings, especially after all that I've shown you. This is why the secret religion is so hidden. This is why it's so ingeniously designed through layers of lies upon lies, cloak upon cloak, and oath upon oath, concealing the truth for its chosen few. What is Freemasonry? What is the most secret yet most powerful religion in the world? Well, that's easy. We live in an evil, evil world. So there's only one religion that befits it. Freemasonry is Satanism in disguise. Now start the clock. From Morals and Dogma, prepared for the Supreme Council for 33rd degree. That's the highest degree in Freemasonry, and written by the undisputed heavyweight champion of modern Freemasonry, Albert Pike. On page 321, he boldly states, Lucifer, the light bearer. Strange and mysterious name to give to the spirit of darkness. Lucifer, son of the morning. Is it he who bears the light? Doubt it not. Did you hear that? Lucifer is God, and do not doubt it. Come on now, stay with me. Here from the Encyclopedia of Freemasonry, written by 33rd degree Freemason, a beloved member of the craft, Albert Mackey. He tells us whose name represents the good principle in Freemasonry's secret worldview. Writing under the Masonic meaning of the word pentagram, he says that the pentagram, depending on its position, represents good or evil. See how he puts the positive aspect in the first position? Good first, evil second. Good or evil, light or darkness, victory or death, initiation or profanation, Lucifer or Vesper. Lucifer is good. Lucifer is light. Lucifer is victory. And Lucifer is true initiation. See, if you're not initiated, you're profane. If you haven't figured out that God is Lucifer, you're vulgar and profane. You're stupid, in their own words. That's the beginning of their big secret. God is the devil, and we're already in hell right now. Now from the Freemason of the Century, Manly Hall, and this will make it 3 out of 3 legends of Freemasonry stating the same thing. In The Lost Keys of Freemasonry on page 76, when the Mason learns that the key to the warrior on the block is the proper application of the dynamo of living power, he has learned the mystery of his craft. The seething, surging energies of Lucifer are in his hands. Do you see? The world's hidden religion, with its universal one-eye symbolism, who was revealed slowly and by degrees only to its dedicated members, is Satanism, or Luciferianism as they prefer to call it. Now all the oaths make sense, don't they? Now all the rituals make sense. Now all the penalties make sense. And their secret signs and symbols and handshakes all make sense. While the bulk of Freemasons make the external image of the fraternity and know nothing of who rules over them and who or what they're protecting. But which craft do you think the Freemason of the Century is talking about here? This is the reality. They all go through Freemasonry. You think that Sam Worthington was so talented that he was picked over all those American actors to star in Avatar? Of course not. He was a Freemason. And so was the director, James Cameron, of the highest caliber. You have to remember that to them, Lucifer is good. Lucifer is the liberator. Jesus is the suppressor. Lucifer is pure love. Jesus is impure love. Lucifer left heaven for you. Jesus was crucified because he was a false Messiah. The world has always been deceptive, and we have been magnificently deceived. Here is an incredible example. Pay attention. This should blow your mind. Charles Darwin, the father of atheism and rationalism, was an initiated Freemason, doing the hidden hand of Freemasonry in this picture, and the vow of silence in this one. This would have remained unknown to us because no one's going to teach us this. But now we have the tools to see his beliefs, not through his words, but through his signs and symbols. I told you they can't help but to show off their allegiance, because they think we're stupid, vile, and ignorant. And I've proven that to you as well. So once again, are you going to prove them right by switching off and ignoring this? Well, unfortunately, more than 90% of you will. What I'm giving you here is priceless knowledge, because no amount of money or success can substitute its importance. And I'm risking everything but my own salvation to share it with you. If only for the few of you. Think about what you've just seen here with Charles Darwin, because I don't know if you got it. You cannot be accepted as a candidate of Freemasonry unless you believe in a supreme being, as exemplified here with Phil Collins, speculated by some to be an atheist, but this seems impossible because being a Freemason, he has to believe in a higher power, or more accurately, supreme being, and I can personally vouch for that. And look here in the Masonic Oath itself. The candidate says, I will not aid or be present at the initiation of an atheist, a madman, or a fool. Freemasonry believes that to be an atheist is to be the equivalent of a madman. And they're right. Yet while they propagate atheism around the world, in universities and schools, Charles Darwin himself was a believer in an intelligent designer, a supreme being. He had to be, because he's a Freemason. And that intelligent designer that gave birth to us is named Lucifer in the highest degrees of Freemasonry. See? Never tell. He lied to you because that's what Freemasons do. The whole thing is a giant lie that was carefully constructed by mutilating the truth, because mutilated truths make the most successful lies. This is the secret to their success, a lying tongue and a lying spirit, from the 1st degree to the 33rd degree, to each other and to us. I've proven that as well. And what did Jesus, how did he describe their God? The father of lies. How accurate. The one who comes to cheat, kill and destroy. How accurate again when I tell you their plans. Look here, Charles Darwin is noted as an influential figure by the Satanic Temple. And proof for them, apart from the intelligent design that is all around us, that Lucifer is real and that he's the god of this realm, is the power of witchcraft or magic. Magic works because there's a hierarchy or a pyramidal power structure in the spirit realm, a realm devoid of any love for you. And these spirits can be conjured up and summoned by the practitioners of the royal art of Freemasonry. They ask for something in return, however. Listen to Bob Dylan, a Freemason. Hidden hand, one-eye symbolism.
Out here doing these songs, you're still on tour.
I do, but I don't take it for granted.
Why do you still do it? Why are you still out here?
Well, it goes back to the destiny thing. I made a bargain with it, a long time ago, and I'm holding up my hand.
What was your bargain?
To get where I am now.
Should I ask who you made the bargain with?
with the chief commander.
On this earth?
And in this earth, and then in a world we can't see.
How does one communicate with Bob Dylan's chief commander, Lucifer? By the jealously guarded royal art of Freemasonry, witchcraft. This is from the Encyclopedia of American Religions. Secrecy is bolstered by a system of initiations and degrees, the Freemasonic system. The material which is kept secret is the magical knowledge of the group. This knowledge may consist of rituals and powerful magical formulas. Do you think J.K. Rowling isn't a Luciferian? In this article, J.K. Rowling reveals the inspiration behind the Deathly Hallows symbol. And what is it? The Masonic square and compass, with the one eye that all the celebrities mimic. That's the inspiration. They're all members of the secret society. If you think that doesn't prove anything, here she is with her new tattoo. It says Solve Coagula. Also a song title by fellow Freemason Marilyn Manson. And where does it come from? Here, the Baphomet. The image of Lucifer as conceptualized by another Freemason, Eliphas Levi, in his book, The Doctrine of Transcendental Magic. This horrid thing, with breasts, a penis, and a goat's head with 2 horns, has these words written on its arms, Solve Coagula. The impact of the meaning of these 2 words should disturb you to soberness when I tell you about them. Because apart from other things, they involve the process in which the new system will be implemented at unbelievable cost to you and I. Here's a statue of the Baphomet at the temple, satanic temple, complete with 2 little kids admiring it. That's J.K. Rowling's religion, Satanism. The secret religion for the highly evolved and the highly successful. Welcome to the real world. The same Masonic author writes in The Doctrine of Transcendental Magic, in the ceremonies practiced at reception by all secret societies, there are found indications of a doctrine which is everywhere carefully concealed, and that is witchcraft. And in his History of Magic, he tells us it is the royal art, and that's what Freemasonry calls it. And where did he get his inspiration for the Baphomet? From the Knights Templar, another secret society who were banned, and some of its members were executed in the 1300s for glorifying evil, as it's openly stated here in the Satanic Rituals. And where do modern day Knights Templars reside now? Within high degree of Freemasonry, right here. Again from the Encyclopedia, and listen to this. The continuing impact of speculative Freemasonry, which means modern day Freemasonry, provided fertile soil in which new magical orders could grow. Magical orders, meaning other branches of secret societies, of which Freemasonry is the umbrella. Because Freemasonry is the king of secret societies. Just like JFK tried to tell us, it's the prestigious channel that one must go through. And it is the reason that the oldest religion in the world has made a colossal comeback and is now on the brink of success. Which, as I said, nothing can stop now. And again from the Encyclopedia, the groups wear ritual garb and meet in magical lodges. And where do Masons meet? In the Masonic Lodge. Like here with a magical pentagram on their checkered floorboard. Are you believing your eyes? Or are you making excuses? Here's another statue of the Baphomet at a satanic temple doing the sign of the horned god Lucifer. The hand sign mimicking the horns on his head. And of course, the upside down cross. And here's Barack Obama doing the same sign. And the sign of silence with a twist. Who do you think he's mocking here? You and I. But mainly Christians. Because Christianity is the one force that has stood between you and the inconceivable horror that is awaiting us and is on its way. Here's an article on Barack Obama, and that's his hands adjusting his presidential seal. And there's his Masonic ring, and the sign of the devil's horns, over and over. Freemasonry and Satanism are intertwined. Look at these Masonic politicians throwing up the devil's horns. George W. Bush. Look how sneaky and sinister the look on his face is here. And the manner in which he's delivering the sign. In front of the whole world. Is he a fan of rock music? Is he saying I love you in sign language for the deaf, like some people like to say? This is his fraternal order called Skull and Bones, also known as the Order of Death, where you lie naked in a coffin with what's called a temple prostitute during initiation. Clearly a Masonic order, with this guy displaying the hidden hand of Freemasonry. In Stanley Kubrick's last movie before his death, he's telling you that all prominent members of industry, including politics, as the movie goes on to show, are members of a satanic secret society. In it, he shows the members engage in an orgy and feast after the ceremony of dedication to their horned god. To identify which secret society he's referring to, he leaves the clues in the artwork. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. The One-Eyed Religion. And who do you think the title of the movie is dedicated to? None other than the stupid, ignorant, and uninitiated masses watching the movie. And you know it now. He knew that when we'd leave the cinema, we'd be commenting on the performance of Tom Cruise, or giggling about the orgy scene, or just being disappointed because the movie went too long, or some other meaningless critique, with eyes wide shut. Look at the cover of his other movie, A Clockwork Orange. The eye on top of the pyramid. And on his shirt, the word devil in Italian. Let me take it up a notch, in case this isn't registering. Listen to the founder of the Satanic Church, Anton LaVey, tell us in his book, The Satanic Rituals, which is a companion to the Satanic Bible, Masonic orders have contained the most influential men in many governments, and virtually every occult order has many Masonic roots. This is back in 1972 he said this. Now 40 years later it should read all governments, not many. And why is the founder of the Church of Satan talking about Freemasonry, the most respectable and charitable fraternity in the world, that no one seems to talk about and that we never hear about in school? This is why. Because the Satanic Ritual is a blend of Gnostic, Kabbalistic, Hermetic, and Masonic elements. That's crazy, because Freemasonry is a blend of Gnostic, Kabbalistic, and Hermetic elements too. Any Masonic writer will confirm that. But how can that be? Because Freemasonry is Satanism in disguise. On page 106, every rite of the Black Order employed Masonic principles. Every rite of these Black Orders, one of which was called Freunden von Lucifer, which translates to Friends of Lucifer. And guess what? There are numerous manifestations of Satanism in Masonic ritual, including the goat, the coffin, and the death's head. Please awaken, O sleeper, and let the glorious light of the truth dawn upon your sleepy eyes. How did Freemasonry get away with this? Just like Jesus, the greatest enemy of theirs, said they would, by dressing the wolves as sheep. A satanic underground carefully cloaked in Christian trappings. That's how Freemasonry got away with it. We can't find out about it because they run the media and the education system clearly. John F. Kennedy was brutally assassinated after he attempted to inform us that we are opposed around the world by a monolithic conspiracy. Did he know that Lucifer was the god of Freemasonry? I don't know. The Grand Master of my lodge, who was the mayor of the city, was a 32nd degree Freemason. That's one short of the top, one short of the true beginning of the secret religion, and he had no idea what Freemasonry really was. After 42 years in the lodge, they never invited him into the 33rd degree initiation because he couldn't see past the Christian trappings, as they were designed to do exactly that, trap the Christian, or trap anyone else who was too sensitive to behold the truth. Thus, Freemasonry could halt their progress at any time without suspicion, because it's a rare thing to reach the 33rd degree, and every Freemason knows that. So that there are no rude awakenings that take place with those that aren't ready to embrace Lucifer as the true god of Freemasonry and the world. This is an ingenious system, birthed by what must have been demonic inspiration. Anton LaVey says that this ingenious system I speak of serves as a rudimentary screening process for organized Satanism. Exactly right. It's a filtering process, as I've said earlier. An international filtering process from which men and women are picked and permitted to enter the world stage. And I'm saying all this for those who naively think that politics and magic ritual do not mix. That's the founder of the Satanic Church. He admits that. Admissions that were never heeded because no one cares. How else did the Freemasons pull the wool over our eyes? The companion to the Satanic Bible tells us that as well. By filling the world with fools. And who's the biggest fool in the eyes of Freemasonry? An atheist. From the Encyclopedia of Freemasonry. One who does not believe in the existence of God. Such a state of mind can only arise from the ignorance of stupidity. All this time, you're laughing at Christians, and the Freemasons are laughing at you.
You were both in Skull and Bones, the secret society.
It's so secret we can't talk about it.
What does that mean for America? The conspiracy theorists are going to go
I'm
on.
sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the web.
Number 322?
First of all, he's not the nominee. And, look, I look forward...
Are you prepared to lose?
No, I'm not going to lose.
3 generations of the Bush family have been members of Skull and Bones. George W. Bush, his father George H.W. Bush, and his father before him, Prescott Bush, were all members of this occult secret society.
Being forced to kiss a skull, then members performing a mock killing.
He's Brad Pitt, wearing his Masonic ring and covering his eye. Now here's a genuine quote from Brad Pitt, the Freemason. In short, I could really try on something different for myself. That was Satanism. It's working out really well. I made a pact. That's why. You don't believe him? Bob Dylan does. And the hand sign they all do. Allow me to show you what it symbolizes. And now that you know what you know, it should make sense to you. It stands for 666. Yes, indeed. Satan's number, foretold by Jesus Christ. Now just hang on, let me prove it to you. Here it is for all to see on this shirt design, worn by Guns N' Roses guitarist Slash. See the I in the middle of the 6? Repeated 3 times. That's 666. In this one, the design in the shirt is clearly demonstrated by the person wearing it. Another example, the hand sign with 3 6s on the shirt. Here's a movie poster, the hand sign and the 6 on his lapel. Connect the dots. Here's Don Cheadle, the hand sign, and here he covers one eye with the dice. What's the number on the dice that he holds toward the camera? 6. There's literally 3 6s that manifest in the hand sign itself, like this. That's why they do it. Here's Drake with the most obvious example, holding up the hand sign with the all-seeing eye of Lucifer on his bicep. And here, blatantly connecting the 6 to the hand sign on the artwork to one of his songs. The hand sign over one eye, obviously signifying a 6. This is proof. The number is mystical, and it's grounded in reality, and it's related to sex rituals within witchcraft. You'll see, I'll show you. But if that's not enough, there. Drake is clearly intending that hand sign to be a way of communicating the number 666. A hater of Christianity and Jesus Christ. But I wonder why. He has everything he desires. Christians aren't suppressing him. He doesn't hate Buddha or Muhammad. None of them do. No. Jesus is who they hate. But they protect Freemasonry by communicating its presence in their lives not by word, but by symbols and signs. disciples of Lucifer. While you don't believe it, they take it very seriously, and they mock you by displaying it in your face. They know the truth. The chief commander, the one at the top of the pyramid, is Satan, the god of this world, just like Jesus told you who he is. Britney Spears doing the 666 over the eye, and look at this. The devil's horns while she wears the seal of the US $1 bill, designed by Freemasons. You know why now. You just have to stop denying it. Freemasonry is Satanism in disguise. This is how they tell you. Let's go to Britney's close friend, whom she tongue-kissed in front of the world, sexualized as these people are, and for all the girls out there to be inspired and corrupted by. Madonna, wearing the same Masonic design as Britney. 666 hand sign, the one eye symbolism, and the vow of silence. The vow of silence with her fellow practitioner of witchcraft. The Masonic eye in the triangle behind her, and now the upside down cross of Christ on her outfit. A member of the secret society who hates Jesus with a passion, as you can see here with Lucifer, the god of Freemasonry, giving her oral sex. Deep despisers of Christianity. Are you wondering why yet? The sign of the devil's horns here, meaningfully placed and done with precise intent, like with all of them. And here teaching her poor children to follow in her footsteps. Truly only God knows how many young people she's perverted in her career, all orchestrated by Freemasonry. Here's the founder of the Church of Satan again, Anton LaVey, showing the horn sign. The horned god of the witches, as illustrated by Una Woodruff in her book Witches. And here, with a member of the Agora sect of Hinduism partaking in a ritual of the oldest religion of the world. She's drinking blood here from what? A human skull. Sound familiar? That's right. That's what all the high-level Freemasons do, except they use wine, until they themselves are invited into the secret religion. It's ritualistically done to gain magical abilities, not a myth. And look at her hand sign. It's also known as the El Diablo. Do you still think this hand sign is a joke, or it's misunderstood or misrepresented by people like me? Look at the cover of Anton's other book called Satan Speaks. Look at the eye. He has one eye emphasized. Can you see? What about the image of Lucifer in the Satanic Temple? Look at the right eye. It's darkened. You ready for this? From the Bible. And this passage is thousands of years old. Woe to the worthless shepherd. His right arm shall be completely withered, and his right eye shall be utterly darkened. Where do you think this hatred for Jesus comes from? Do you think it's because we've outgrown it? Or because it speaks the truth? Who do you think this worthless shepherd with one eye darkened is? And who said, I am the good shepherd? Who said that? Jesus Christ is the good shepherd, not the worthless shepherd with one eye. You think this is all just a coincidence? Just hang tight a little longer and you will see some wonder. Here's Anton LaVey with Freemason Marilyn Manson, and here's Marilyn covering his eye. In case you forgot that this is the eye of Freemasonry, the international religion they all belong to. Here he is giving the sign of the master of the second veil, the hidden hand of Freemasonry, along with his Masonic ring. You know how many presidents and journalists and common men have tried to expose Freemasonry? Or get it shut down, get it banned? Well, those days are long gone. Marilyn Manson, the Freemason who tears the Bible into pieces on stage during his performances, he captured the fundamental purpose of Freemasonry's existence very well when he said in an interview with Spin magazine in 1996, "Hopefully I'll be remembered as the person who brought an end to Christianity," echoing the dreams of grandeur, just like his spiritual father. Now Kesha, one eye symbolism of Freemasonry, the eye in the triangle, and the sign of silence. So she's a member. And behold, an inverted cross in her music video, inverted cross on her outfit, and a satanic pentagram on this outfit, just like the symbol of female Freemasonry. You think none of these Freemasons look like witches? Really? And none of these witches in the making? Remember, 90% of them don't know what they're serving, or what they're doing there, or why they're taking oaths of such silence and such penalty. Avril Lavigne does, showing her allegiance with the one-eye symbolism, participating in lesbianism in a video, influencing the masses, subtly stealing her innocence. And what's on her helmet? One eye. And doing the El Diablo with pentagrams at her concert. Anthony Bourdain, with his one-eye symbolism, he was openly a hater of Christianity. And what kind of woman would suit a man like this? Well, a fellow member of the secret society who hates Christianity too, of course, Asia Argento. One-eye symbolism, again and again. The sign of Lucifer's horns, and this pose of his image. Remember the Baphomet. There's Asia mimicking its pose, complete with the finger position. Creatures with breasts and an erect penis and a goat's head. You know, things you find normal now, thanks to international Freemasonry, normalizing evil and filth through multiple levels of and avenues of propaganda and influence, including television, movies, music videos, schools, education, through legislation, through passing of laws to protect the evil nature, and of course through your favorite idols. Chris Hemsworth, just your everyday good Aussie bloke? I'm afraid not. One-eye symbolism and the sign of silence, both of which mean he's taken all the disgusting oaths of Freemasonry under the penalty of death, thus catapulting him over the competition, never to promote Christian values or Jesus Christ again. The 666 hand sign, and now, see how the hand symbol makes sense? Amber Heard, who was married to this Freemason, who's best friends with this Freemason. I told you they only date, marry and associate with their secret society. Here with the 666 over one eye, and this tweet. I think it's a tweet, I don't know. Look at the one eye closed, darkened if you will, and identifying its meaning with the devil's hand symbol. Of course, she camouflages the whole thing with her misdirecting words for the dumb masses. But we can see through that now, right? Oh, look, it's Elon Musk replying. He's a fan of Amber Heard. Or is there more to it? Good sign, he says. The sign of the devil's horns. The fertility god. The sex god. That's what he's referring to. Why on earth would he point that out? You know why. But to be sure, let's go to his wife or girlfriend, Grimes. One eye. And whose eye is it? You know that too now. The god of this world, who hates Jesus Christ just like she does. 2 inverted crosses of Christ and the pentagram. And what about Elon's mother? Of course, all members of the secret society. Most of us who never even knew it existed. Blink-182, initiated member with some of his secret brothers from the lodge. Vow of silence. Sign of the devil. Cyndi Lauper, all-seeing eye. Vow of silence. The sign of the god of this world. Christian Bale, who thanked Satan at an award show, doing the sign of the master of the second veil, the hidden hand of Freemasonry. Ashley Tisdale, all-seeing eye. Social media post, and hanging out with her boyfriend, who proudly wears the satanic cross. You think they belong to the same religion? Of course they do. Bonnie Wright, one eye and the satanic horns. John Cleese, I include him here because he's a well-known hater and mocker of Jesus Christ and Christianity. He got rich off it, and he's a proud Freemason, showing his allegiance. Motley Crue, Nikki Sixx, Tommy Lee, Vince Neil holding a cross upside down, and their album cover. Secretly Freemasons under oath while promoting Satanism in the open, doing their job and influencing the masses to hate Jesus and Christianity and to live a life of sin through seduction of their music. Secret Society member Jimi Hendrix hiding one eye and telling you about the secret powers of music. Nirvana, Kurt, bass player Chris, Dave Grohl, Dave and Jack Black making the sign of the pentagram, a geometric tool used in the magical curriculum, and Dave wearing his upside down cross. Hard to listen to all those beautiful songs he's written now. Courtney Love and her daughter glorifying the symbol of Satan, and Nirvana discovering something on a road trip while covering some numbers up. Proud Satanists, all secret Freemasons. Here's Quentin Tarantino. Now that we know what we know, can you see through this picture to reach its true meaning? The all-seeing eye, whose identity is revealed by the hand gesture, which is 666, with the vow of silence and throwing up the devil's horns, which I hope you can finally see means something. Share. Can this get any more obvious now? The sign of the vow of silence being made with the sign of the devil, telling you that the secret which isn't to be spoken of is Lucifer, right there in front of you. Speaking through signs and symbols, like Confucius said, signs and symbols rule the world, not words nor laws. Cardi B, I just want you to see a few connections between the one-eye symbolism, the 666 hand sign, and the horned God symbol. Eddie Izzard, all-seeing eye, hidden hand, and mimicking the horns of the Masonic God. Oh, but men love the darkness rather than light, as the scriptures put it so solemnly. Look at how precise that statement is. With high-ranking Freemasons loving the darkness so much that they define the darkness itself as light. Watch. In MasonicWorld.com, an article by Worshipful Master John Alexander, who has journeyed from the lower degrees to the high and sublime degrees. This is the religion of our leaders and celebrities, so listen. He writes, every ritual from the high and sublime degrees that I have ever read contains the statement, I beg you to observe that the light of a Master Mason is darkness visible. I put it to you, brethren, that this is the most accurate description of Masonic light that you will ever find. Think about what you just heard, because this is what they learn. Masonic light is darkness. And this is before they enter the real religion of Freemasonry, Satanism. That's why in the high degrees the ritual states to the candidate, I beg of you to observe, meaning to ponder, to contemplate what they mean by the statement. My 32nd degree Grand Master, he never understood. And they don't push you, remember? It's all a screening process to weed out the weaklings who can't handle the truth. The truth that this is how the all-seeing eye sees things. Evil is good and good is evil. Look at what he says immediately afterwards. In keeping with our normal Masonic practice of burying our important truths deeply, the ritual sets out to immediately disguise this truth. Usually people bury their lies, but Masons bury their truths. Because their truth is that God is the devil and that we are in hell. So everything has to be flipped on its head in order for things to make sense in this place, where lust creates life, where might is right, where compassion is weakness, and of course, in order to succeed. Look here, with another Freemason of the highest degree, Helena Blavatsky. She writes in her book, The Secret Doctrine. Doctrine means belief. So the book is called The Secret Belief. The Secret Belief of Freemasonry. She says, the sons of God, of whom Satan was one, all those spiritual beings were called angels of darkness, because that darkness is absolute light. Do you see how far they go to protect and glorify the darkness? Because men love darkness rather than light. If these were just randoms next door or some minor cult, I wouldn't be telling you about them, and I really wouldn't care this much. But these are not randoms. These are our heroes. These are those who have crept into the power structure very slowly since 1717, when the first Masonic Grand Lodge was organized, to overthrow Christianity and the world. These are those who we admire, trust. And these are those who have perverted our culture with one hand, the hidden hand, while upholding it with the other hand. So you can never call them out, because they run charities, nursing homes, and children's hospitals in the open, while they propagate smut, violence, debt, and of course atheism in secret. While a plethora of everyday distractions are endlessly supplied to us through entertainment and news, plowing through our lives. That's political Freemasonry, politicizing everything, including entertainment, supplying you with their heroes and their idols. And now that 95% of the world have been spiritually disarmed by thinking, oh, the world is a good place and Jesus is a myth, they've rigged our infrastructure and they're about to bring it down so they can build up their new world from the ashes. A completely new system of life on this planet is coming. I promise you that. In a book called Satan's Master Plan, LaVey affirms his commitment to destroy Christianity. Now check out Anton LaVey, once again in perfect parallel with Freemasonry, stating in the Satanic Bible, waiting at the darkness visible for that bright and morning star. Bright and morning star being a reference to Lucifer. The exact same expression as the Freemason and worshipful master John Alexander that we just heard describing Masonic light. Darkness visible. Identical language. Because Freemasonry is Satanism in disguise. This is what the initiated queen of Freemasonry, Helena Blavatsky, says of the bulk of Freemasons in her book. The knowledge of their members about the full signification of their symbols is nil. And that's of course true to the Freemasons listening. How do I know she's a Freemason? Because her diploma was reproduced on page 66 in Freemasonry Universal, Volume 5, Part 2, in the Autumn Equinox, 1929. And also because she's displaying the Masonic penalty sign, like all these Freemasons. Drew Barrymore, all-seeing eye, vow of silence. And see, the symbol of her secret god. Elijah Wood, one eye, hidden hand of Freemasonry, and the devil's horns. Sammy Davis Jr., the eye of the Freemasons is the all-seeing eye of Lucifer. Because here he is with Anton LaVey, the founder of the Church of Satan. So when you see him hanging with other celebrities like Bill Cosby, can you be sure that they belong to the same religion? Sure you can. I told you they don't hang out with the uninitiated. You think the Rat Pack weren't Freemasons? Well, here's their leader, Frank Sinatra, doing the hidden hand.
got introduced to music.
And I'm like, if you don't get this right now, I swear to Lucifer, I'm gonna. Poker facing with your sexuality. When I was making love to my old boyfriend, I used to think about women sometimes.
Oh, good Lord. I'm sure he was delighted when you told me. Oh, good Lord. I'm sure he was delighted.
There is a fork in the road that's approaching you. There is a and you can stay on the path which curves to the left by denying the existence of Satanism in the fullness that you've been shown. Or you can surrender to the truth and take the right-hand path. Now, where that road could lead is the sweetest risk you'll ever take. Are you still pretending that this one-eye religion of Freemasonry isn't Luciferianism? See, this here is the biggest obstacle you'll ever face. The very thing that could lead you to the prize is the very thing that will keep you from it. The reality of international Satanism. In the shadow of Christianity, Satanism has always been there. With every church that sprung up, so did its invisible enemy, the Satanic Church, growing out of sight and out of mind from this to this. And Christianity has long been deprived of its power, as clearly demonstrable by the absolute lack of preaching against the institution of Freemasonry. Satanism's magic cloak, Satanism's magic trick, that's Freemasonry. And how they are laughing for now. So Freemasons are at the helm of the power structure of society, which means Satanism rules. And they're making their move for the new order of the ages. Are you that besotted by this evil world that you'll even deny the existence of secret societies? And what about the American President, John Kennedy? Was he just a nutjob like me? Warning us about an international secret society with an international secret plot. A Freemason trying to tell you and the world about Freemasonry. Shot through the head. I've shown you who they are. I've shown you how they successfully operate with degrees of initiations and horrific and illegal oaths of secrecy. And I've shown you why they are a secret society. I've proven it to you. And only now that I've done that, I can show you in this many minutes what the shocking new order that Freemasonry has so cautiously been guiding us toward actually looks like. And of course you won't believe that either. By now there's a 98.5% chance that you belong to the world. And in that case, the world can do, will do, and is doing whatever the hell it wants to with you. And when all you have is the world, you'll do anything to hold on to it. Christian or not, most of you will follow this world straight to the slaughterhouse in the name of peace, safety, and progress. Clinging to it, because all you love is inside it. Blissfully ignoring people like me warning you of who's really in charge of it. Men, women, actors, singers, businessmen, and politicians, all interlocked, whose God is named Lucifer. You've seen it with your own eyes, but now you can hear it with your own ears from this 33-degree Freemason in person, just in case the Masonic literature wasn't enough for you.
Okay, define Lucifer for me.
Pure, virtuous, wholesome, innocent individual that's out to help people.
Lucifer is?
Yeah.
Say that again. Lucifer is a pure, holy,
Virtuous.
virtuous. Now, see the Lucifer that God created?
That's the same one.
Oh man, this is great. I'm going to put this on the internet.
Oh, God bless you,
And-
brother.
Because that's exactly what the Shriners and Masons teach us, that Lucifer is light.
No.
And you're
What about those
confirming it.
hospitals? They
You know what, sir? Jesus said, many will say to me on that day, Lord, Lord, we did not do these good deeds in your name. And you'll say, away from me, you workers of iniquity. I never knew you.
Jesus said it?
In Matthew chapter 5.
You've been bred from childhood to fall for the biggest lie ever told, that Satan doesn't exist. And if Satan doesn't exist, well then neither does Jesus. And while your heroes and idols know full well that they do exist. And when I say you've been bred from childhood, I mean just that. Walter Disney was a high-ranking Freemason. Here's a Masonic stamp dedicated to him, and his very exclusive Club 33, which stands for the 33 degrees of Freemasonry. And who's the god of the 33rd degree Freemason, Walt Disney? Or Walter hides the answer in plain sight, because that's what Freemasons do. Firstly, the God of Mr. Disney is wicked. See how they veil evil with a cloak of innocence? What does the word veil itself conceal? Secondly, Walter's God is horny, symbolized by the horned god of the witches. And we all know Walt Disney loves magic, which is witchcraft. So the depictions of sex are hidden in plain sight as well. Remember, lust produces life, not love. So lust is purity, lust is love, for the high degree Freemason. And thirdly, he hides the number of his God's name in the open as well. No, that's not a 666 he's seeing interwoven in the design. That would be ridiculous, wouldn't it? Not even when they separate the sixes from the name, all three of them, and place them together for you like this, in plain sight. No, not even then will people see. Do you think things are any better 50 years later? Here's the eye of Lucifer in the Nickelodeon channel, and his lightning flash. Remember what they actually believe about Satan. From Freemason Helena Blavatsky's book, The Secret Doctrine, meaning the secret belief. Who is Satan? He is the angel who was proud enough to believe himself God, brave enough to buy his independence at the price of eternal suffering and torture, beautiful enough to have adored himself in full divine light, strong enough to still reign in darkness amidst agony. Helena Blavatsky is suggested as recommended reading by the Encyclopedia of Freemasonry right here. And the Grand Pontiff of Universal Freemasonry, speaking of Lucifer, Satan and the Devil on page 407, writes that to the initiate, the devil is the instrument of liberty or free will. That's who Lucifer is to them, okay? To show you how little you know of who you're dealing with and the extent of this religion's influence and power, not to mention their plans, let me jump ahead for a minute. Watch this. This is Lucius Trust. The Lucius Trust is a non-for-profit service organization incorporated in the United States in 1922, and their objective from Lucius Trust website, dedicated to the establishment of a new and better way of life for everyone in the world, based on the fulfillment of the divine plan for humanity. I really hope you're seeing this. In the article it states that the Baileys had enormous respect for H.P. Blavatsky, who stated in her renowned occult book, The Secret Doctrine, on page 245 in the chapter called Holy Satan. It is Satan who is the God of our planet and the only God. Then the article goes on to say that the Baileys sought to elicit a deeper understanding of the sacrifice made by Lucifer. Everything has been reversed. Evil is good, Jesus is the enemy, and Lucifer sacrificed himself for you, not Jesus Christ, the one who washed the feet of his disciples and the only one they fear. Modern progressive atheists do not influence world events, people. Satanists do. Remember the goal of the Lucius Trust? The fulfillment of the divine plan for humanity. Yeah, the divine plan exposed by Jesus Christ in the Gospels. Hence their war on the Bible and the abolition of it from the school system and even from modern Christian churches who dare not preach from the book of Revelation. Your most highly evolved and contemporary leaders of society secretly believe that in the theosophical perspective, the descent of these solar angels was not a fall into sin or disgrace, but rather an act of great sacrifice. They believe in the fallen angels and their revolt against God as revealed in the Bible, led by the devil, the chief commander of Freemason Bob Dylan, remember? These people make contact with these fallen angels, with the royal art of Freemasonry called witchcraft. Please stick around, let me show you that. How many solar angels does the Bible say followed Lucifer out of this heavenly realm? A third of the angels makes 33%. Does that number sound familiar yet? 33 degrees of Freemasonry. Just a coincidence? From the Gospels again, which expose these people every time. Do not let anyone who delights in false humility and the worship of angels, and who has access to some visionary world, beguile you, trick you of your reward. You still don't believe that the false humility of the charitable fraternity of the Freemasons is behind it all? Well, Blavatsky also published a magazine called Lucifer, with a woman named Annie Besant. And here's a letter written by Annie herself with the official Masonic letterhead. And here Annie signs off as a 33rd degree Freemason. Printed also in the left-hand corner, Annie Besant, 33rd degree, and a member of the Supreme Council. Undeniable and undisputable. Please don't make me prove it to you over and over. Have you caught a glimpse of who you're dealing with yet? They're all Freemasons, high-ranking. And they're all buffeted by a plethora of Masonic dupes who don't know any of this because they can't decipher the symbols and they don't care to try. They're proud and boastful and defensive of their beloved fraternity, in which they get to rub shoulders with the most important people of their suburbs, cities and towns, and in which they got on their knees to take blood oaths of death, calling other old decrepitated men worshipful master, yet still they think it's innocent and has nothing to hide. Delusional and lost, almost beyond hope. Some of them still think it's a Christian organization, just like the founder of the Satanic Church described. What do you get when you carefully conceal Satanism with Christianity? You get Freemasonry. People, Satanism is at the core of our world, and it is behind the new order that will be implemented soon enough. It will be all done through deception. You'll be tricked. Remember how I told you that the all-seeing eye sees that we're in hell? Well, the massive witch and Freemason Helena says so right here. Satan is the minister of God, Lord of the seven mansions of Hades, the angel of the manifest worlds. Hades means hell, manifest worlds means earth. This is who you're dealing with. This is the religion and the beliefs of the rich, powerful and famous. And yes, politicians. Do you want to go back to sleep? You can sleep after this. Or wait till I show you what they're going to do to you, coming up in this many minutes. For those who simply refuse to believe that Bono or Scott Morrison or Prince can be Luciferians because they all go to church, let me show you another Masonic ritual they do. And this is before Satanism or Luciferianism is revealed to the candidate. And then you tell me if Bono or Scott are capable of secretly believing in Lucifer. It all starts here with the Masonic apron. Different kinds signifying different grades. Have you guessed what it's hiding yet? The genitals. Pretty obvious. Like everything else they hide, once you can see. The genitals are the true working tools of a Mason. Freemasonry is foundationally a sex cult, like Satanism, because it all starts with sex, doesn't it? Life itself starts with sex. So the mystical force of the true God of Freemasonry hides in the hidden part of the human body. That's the Holy of Holies, covered by the Masonic apron, the seat of God, the seat of Lucifer. See here with Satanist King Diamond's artwork? The eye is attached to the horn god, but look at where the eye starts, from the waist down. That's where the apron of a Mason begins. And the one eye of Freemasonry is also the one eye of the penis, where life generates and springs forth. See the openly hidden secret of the Masonic square and compass now? You're looking at the sex act. That's the female in missionary position, and that's the male mounting her. The sex act. And the eye in the middle, with these emanating rays, is the orgasm and the ejaculation of the penis. See life shooting forth. That's how they see the sun and the earth too. The sun is the visible penis of their true God, shooting forth life continually. The light itself is the mystical sperm of the God of this world. The sun and penis generate life, while the earth and female womb produce life. The letter G, when replacing the I in the middle of the square and compass, stands for generation, sexual generation. The practical aspect of Freemasonry and Satanism's religion is that of a sex cult. You see Rod Stewart telling you he's a Freemason? By displaying the hidden hand of Freemasonry, also known as the Master of the Second Veil, and look at his other hand, taking the Masonic apron's place for covering his penis, which is the Holy of Holies, the seat of God for the Mason. And from the Grand Pontiff of Freemasonry, Albert Pike, hence the significancy of the phallus, the penis, or of its inoffensive substitute, the obelisk. Straight from the horse's mouth, the erect penis graces us, or should I say disgraces us, with its presence in every country in the world, marking its territory. The Masonic obelisk in our face, everywhere, making its bold statement, yelling, screaming in silence. This is another reason why we're considered the ignorant and stupid masses. Another example of hidden in plain sight. And here's an erect penis on the front page of the female Freemasonry magazine, The Eastern Star. I once stood in front of this obelisk in Sydney, and I must have asked 30 people what they thought it was. Not a single one of them knew. To the Freemasons of the higher degrees, the whole universe is in fact one giant and continuous sex act. This is the structure of Freemasonry. You can take this path to the top or this path. And way up here, you have the Order of the Mystic Shrine. The Mystic Shrine, you have to be a 32nd degree Freemason to be asked to join the Order of the Mystic Shrine. And then, once you're inside, you can be invited to join this order, the Royal Order of Jesters. See, Freemasonry is like Russian dolls, and Satanism is at its center. Look at some of the pins and lapel designs for the Order of the Jesters. You can only join them unless you're at least a 32nd degree Freemason. Sex and debauchery. Erections, the adoration of the phallus, masturbation, devils, demons, fallen angels. This one here, mocking holiness, reference to the anus, and sodomy, anything to mock the Bible. This disgusting one has King Momus sitting on a female's face, and hidden in plain sight is the square and the compass, for those who have eyes to see. Bestiality, yes indeed. This bagpipe player has an erection, and the sheep is running away scared. Self-explanatory. This character has an emphasized eye, if you can see that, and the skull has an emphasized eye also. The wink and the one eye of the Indian. And the secrecy, the symbols of secrecy. On the far right here, the monkey covers his groin area, symbolizing the Masonic apron, and the black and white dogs, well, they symbolize the checkered floorboard of the Masonic Lodge, which is sexualized male and female principles, the horned god, where evil and good don't exist. And in the first degree, Masons are given a Bible stamped with a square and compass, oblivious to the inherent mockery and the foundation of the whole fraternity, as alluded to here with a genuine Royal Order of Jesters private lapel. This is a certificate that a jester receives after his initiation, and you see here their patron is named King Momus, and he was a god, or a daemon, which is a variant of the word demon, who was expelled from heaven, as the legend goes. Sounds just like Lucifer, because it is. Did Freemasonry disassociate themselves from the tax-exempt branch of Freemasonry known as the Jesters? Well, no, they didn't. Because, I mean, this is rare footage of an event within the lodge. Now, I'm sorry about the quality of this, but this is a Masonic lodge. So for Masons that want to say that the Jesters are contrary to Masonry, well, look at these dirty old men. masters of the lodge, with sublime morals, all married, probably all have daughters and granddaughters, yet still this, inside the lodge. But for you it should be obvious, because you can see the square and compass, the sex act, and the all-seeing eye right in the middle. I told you that Satanism was the oldest religion in the world, and it is. The sex act was ritualized and organized as a religion before we called it Satanism. But Satan has always been the god, the horny god, the horned god of these sex cults. All of them, from Samaria to Egypt to Greece and so on, that's called paganism. And the real Bible of the Freemasons and the pagans, the one not written by hand, the one that's older than any book, the one that supersedes all the rest in age, thus making it the purest and most unadulterated word of God in the eyes of the Freemasons, is nature. Nature is their Bible. And before you think there's nothing wrong with that, wait a second, because you're not thinking straight. Ask a Mason, whether he be a first degree or a 33rd degree, what is Freemasonry? And the universal go-to answer is this: a peculiar system of morality, veiled in allegory and illustrated by symbols. Now, why would you need to veil your morals? Because in their peculiar system, evil is good and good is evil. That's Satanism 101. A peculiar system of morals. That should tell you something. That should tell you everything. Why would your morals need to be a secret? Because their deeds are in fact evil. Glorifying the laws of nature, where cruelty and self-obsession are virtuous characteristics. That's nature. Nature is as cruel as she is kind. The checkered floorboard, where everything is legal. It's Christianity that lives in reverse. The first shall be last. Love your enemies. The meek shall inherit the earth. These are unholy and unnatural concepts in the eyes of visible nature, the nature of Freemasonry, which is Satanism. What the Freemasons really mean by this morality veiled in allegory is that they're allowed to steal because nature allows it. They're allowed to kill because nature allows it. They're allowed to commit adultery because nature isn't monogamous. They're allowed to lie, indulge in all their God-given senses, especially sexual, because nature encourages it, as long as no one finds out, under oath. Jesus said, narrow is the road that leads to life, and broad is the road that leads to destruction. The Freemason of the century says, no true Mason can be narrow, for his lodge is the divine expression of all broadness. Because broad are the divine laws of nature. While they glorify those laws, Christianity breaks those laws. It becomes supernatural, because only then can you love your enemy. And so it goes that Christianity is despised by Freemasonry, the real Freemasons, because their Bible is nature. And by nature, they know the personality traits of their God Satan, because he's the God of this world, just as the Freemasons, the enemies of mankind, say that he is. And just like Jesus said he was too. So they believe that Jesus is evil because he denies human nature and burdens us with the knowledge of sin. Observable nature, that's what guides the Masons' ethics and the Masons' morals. That's why they're called Freemasons. Believe you me, because they're free from moral obligations, free from sin, from guilt. They're free from Jesus Christ. These people are introducing this new system of the world, this new age. You're going to miss Christianity when it's gone. Mark my words. Because you have no rights in the eyes of nature, which is the Bible of Freemasonry and Satanism. And soon that will become painfully plain as a fact of life. Now please, I give you fair warning of what's to come in this presentation. It's very disturbing, or at least it should be. So in saying all that, here we go. Is Scott Morrison a Satanist? I'll let you answer that. Here is a ritual that Scott and every Freemason from this guy to this girl have performed. There is one Masonic apron you'll never see being worn. This one. And when I bumped into it, I thought it was a fake. Until I found this in Richardson's Monitor of Freemasonry. official Masonic literature, written for Masons only, on this page. What is that head doing there? You'll find out in a sec. Let's read the description of the apron worn in this degree. Speaking of the initiates, it states, they wear white aprons sprinkled with blood red and lined and bordered with black. On the flap of the apron, a bloody arm holding a dagger, and on the apron, a bloody arm holding a bloody head by the hair. Now this is why there's an illustration of a decapitated head, and this is going to become to a bone-chilling conclusion. So during this ritual, the candidate removes the blindfold and discovers a basin of water with a tumbler beside it. He is also astonished to find a human head lying on the floor. The master of ceremonies returns and directs the candidate to take up the knife in his right hand and the head in his left. Yes, the tip of the iceberg, because I can't bring myself to tell you about what I really know of the rituals that come after the 33rd degree Freemasonry. For as much as they celebrate life in various grotesque ways, they also celebrate death in ritual form, which are the things I can't speak of to you. They have to celebrate death in order to prove that they can see things through the all-seeing eye, the one that sees above evil and above good, the checkered floorboard, where things kill each other to live, where life is cruel, where morals are broad. There is no sin, there is only nature. See, these Masonic rituals are designed to desensitize the candidate further and further in preparation for the raw truth of Satanism, the truth which is plainly stated by the Grand Pontiff of Universal Freemasonry. Lucifer is the light bearer, and that you should doubt it not, from their own literature and from their own mouths. Until finally the candidate's introduction into the royal art of Freemasonry, witchcraft. The ancient craft. Why do you think that witchcraft has disappeared? It never disappeared. It was hidden, forced to go into hiding by the appearance of Jesus on the human scene. Another reason why he's passionately hated, and soon him and his ways will be done away with in this new world, and so will your rights. You still don't believe me? You're still doubting all the evidence, like the Freemasons are counting on you to doubt. Well, remember from the Encyclopedia of American Religions, the continuing impact of speculative, modern Freemasonry provided fertile soil in which new magical orders could grow. Watch this 2-minute clip. I can vouch for every single thing you hear come from the former Masons' mouths.
In the initiation in Freemasonry, we had to be recommended by another Mason. Well, in order to join witchcraft, you have to be first screened. You have to be recommended by somebody currently in witchcraft.
Well, when I was initiated, I was blindfolded and bound by a rope, and on your bare chest was thrust the point of a spear.
In witchcraft, we were initiated through a very involved ritual, initiation ceremony, wherein the candidate was led blindfolded, bound by a rope to the edge of the magic circle.
And the rope is around your neck and you're led forward. And up front, at the eastern end of the building, is a person who's a worshipful master. And you kneel down before him as if he were a god.
You were met by the high priest or high priestess at that time, usually with a sword to your chest.
When I went to enter the lodge, a sharp object was put to my left breast. And I was warned that should I reveal any of the secrets of Freemasonry, to know what to expect.
When you're presented before the high priest, a sword is held against your chest, and you actually take a blood oath, promising to remain faithful to the secrets of witchcraft.
Well, when you are in the room, this blindfold is taken away from you, and this is a time when they say that you're coming from darkness into light.
During the initiation ceremony, the initiate is led by the lieutenant of the high priest and is challenged at the edge of the circle by someone saying, "Who goes there?" And the answer is, "One from the world of darkness."
In Masonry, the prayers are ended with "so mote it be."
Oh, and one of the other aspects of, or distinctives of the craft was that we would always end any spell or ritual where we released the power, this is where the power was released, with the word "so mote it be."
By now this should sound like a stupid question, but why do you think that the initiation ceremonies into witchcraft are almost identical to that of Freemasonry? I'm not even going to answer that. Come on, people, wake up with me. Here's Kylie Minogue, a Freemason, okay? Hidden hand of Freemasonry and the one-eye symbolism of the god of her religion. Now here she is giving the vow of silence, but what the masses fail to see is what's written on the book she's holding. Witchcraft, the royal art of Freemasonry. This is what her vow of silence is referring to in the picture. Yes, Kylie Minogue is a witch. And if you're still that deluded by the magic wand that is television, entertainment, movies, media and whatnot, then you'll no doubt fail to use the incredible eyes that God gave you, from which to see the real world with, the evil world, where Satanists are at the helm. The ban on witchcraft was only officially lifted in England in the 50s, after more than 1500 years. So that tells you who's in control now. And when I give you a glimpse into witchcraft in a minute, you'll see why it's evil. And why it should be anything but legal, even when using it for so-called good, because the well they draw from is poisoned. But thanks to propaganda, the craft of the witch has been absorbed into the realm of fantasy. Justin Timberlake here is also referring to magic in this cover art, with the all-seeing eye looking through the number of their god. Magic. Magic is a much smoother and more acceptable word than witchcraft, that other word. That word still retains its ferociousness, its true character. But that word has been sterilized. That word isn't real to you anymore. You can't feel it for what it really is. Or if you do, your mind has isolated it, confined it to some small groups of unimportance scattered here and there over this diverse world. And so it's nothing to be feared or concerned about. But that's the furthest thing from the truth. Now, some witches want to say that witchcraft isn't Satanism. That's either more delusion or misdirection, as confirmed here by Anton LaVey in the Companion to the Satanic Bible, when speaking of the followers of the Witchcraft Not Satanism school. He writes very accurately that they cannot afford to admit to an affinity with anything that bears the name Satan. He knows where the power of witchcraft comes from. Now, does that mean that Justin Timberlake is a Satanist because of his symbolism and the use of his word alluding to witchcraft in his artwork? Well, yes, actually, that's correct. He is. Here's a quote from one of his songs. You want to see who else is in good company with these famous idols? Suzanne Atkins. Same sign, same religion, Satanism. Do they all have to admit it in the English language for you to believe me? Or can the symbols they use finally be enough for you? Look at what another legendary Freemason, Arthur E. Waite, states. Out of evil comes good. And the confusion of tongues gave rise to the ancient practice of Masons conversing without the use of speech. Out of evil comes good, so it's good to do evil. That's what he's saying. See, I'm trying to include you into the conversation that the Freemasons are having with each other in public via symbolism, unbeknownst to you. Listen to what famous US footballer Tom Brady said regarding his wife.
So, man, I listened to her. And right after the game, she said, "See, I did a lot of work. You do your work, I do mine." She said, "You're lucky you married a witch. I'm just a good witch."
Well, this is Tom Brady. And this is his wife. Both initiated into the secret society. Of course they are. Wait, she's not displaying the one-eye symbol of the Freemasons, is she? That's just art, isn't it? Well, no, it's not. She's a witch, and her husband just told you she was. Here's Steve Miller's front cover to the famous song Abracadabra. And he covers his eye, because he's a member of the one-eyed religion. And abracadabra is a legitimate word used in witchcraft. Here it is in the 100-year-old Encyclopedia of Freemasonry. Why would the word abracadabra be in the Encyclopedia of Freemasonry, the fraternity that runs charities, hospitals, nursing homes, and that secretly supply us with popes, presidents, prime ministers, kings and queens, and the bulk of our entertainers? Why? You know, I really think it's time to show you what the Satanists dressed as Freemasons are going to do to you and the world to finally establish their new world, their utopia. And this is going to be the segue into that. This is my last practical example of Freemasonry's satanic roots. This is Jay-Z inside his Masonic lodge. You could see the Masons in aprons in front of him. This is where Jay-Z takes his sick oaths of silence, kneels down in front of other men, and calls them most worshipful master, an appalling title to give to a man on this planet. Jay-Z the Freemason writes songs like this. This one's called Lucifer. And in Empire State of Mind he writes, Jesus can't save you. Life starts when the church ends. Oh, but he can save you, Jay-Z. He can even wake you up just before you collide into a concrete wall doing 120 kilometers an hour. I should know. This is fellow member of the craft Alicia Keys, who sings on the track. Here she is, showing her allegiance and wearing the broken and bloody cross of Jesus Christ, the occult peace sign, pure hatred for Jesus. There is peace when your conscience has been killed, seared to sin, and you can indulge to anything, a false and temporary kind of peace, no doubt. Here's a shot of Jay-Z's clothing line, purely Masonic, The Craft. Well, this is the craft he's referring to. This is him with well-known witch Marina Abramovich, also showing her sign of allegiance to Freemasonry. Now here we go. Here's Jay-Z wearing a most revealing top and the dead giveaway that you need to see behind the curtain of Freemasonry. Do what thou wilt. Do whatever you want. That's the adopted motto of the most notorious Satanist of the 20th century, 33rd degree Freemason, Aleister Crowley. Here is his certificate of appointment, known as the 33rd degree inscription and the double-headed eagle of Freemasonry. And here, next to his name on the certificate, including the symbol for a Grand Commander of Freemasonry, as shown in their encyclopedia. But to really confirm that he's a Freemason, here he is doing the Masonic sign of the Master of the Second Veil. Now here's a legitimate letter from Aleister. Again, the addition of his inscription of the 33rd degree, and he signs off with a symbol of the past commander of Freemasonry. What does he write beside it? Baphomet. This Baphomet. Now listen to this man to get a clearer picture of the truth behind the secret religion of the stars and the leaders of the world. Aleister is the founder of a Luciferian church called the Ordo Templi Orientis, and he named himself the Beast 666, straight from the Bible, depicting the number of wickedness in human form. In his what's called Libers writings, he says, "With my hawk's head, I peck at the eyes of Jesus as he hangs upon the cross." Do you see the hatred? You think they don't hate you too? Keep watching. And from the equinox, with the all-seeing eye of Freemasonry, this illustration. What does it mean? The writer himself explains. The picture is symbolic of the new eon, the new age. From the blasted stump of dogma hangs the hag with dyed and bloody hair, Christianity. There's a massive glimpse into the new world order that's coming. Keep watching. And down here, do what thou wilt is the true nature. The true nature, remember? The broad morals. There is no such thing as evil. So do what you want. Can you see the Masonic future yet? Can you see the hidden hatred that pulses through its veins? If they believe in do what thou wilt, what do you think they will do to you? And what do you think they'll do in order to build this new world? This is from a commentary on his book of the law. The Beast 666 adviseth that all children should be accustomed from infancy to witness every type of sexual act. Do what thou wilt. And what about the royal art of Freemasonry? Magic is the highest, most absolute, and most divine knowledge of natural philosophy. What a statement. The highest, most absolute and divine. Well, let's have a closer look into some of the more hidden secrets of the most divine natural philosophy known as magic. Any living being is a storehouse of energy, varying in quantity according to the size and health of the animal. At the death of the animal, this energy is liberated suddenly. The animal, therefore, should be killed within the circle, within the magic circle, so that energy that's released can be captured and directed to serve the will of the witch, male or female. This is a science, a hidden science. But now hear this, coming from a 33rd degree Freemason, and don't you forget that. For the highest spiritual working, one must accordingly choose that victim which contains the greatest and purest force, a male child of perfect innocence and high intelligence is the most suitable sacrifice. Can you see? This is who Jay-Z is quoting on his top. This is who this Jonas brother holds in high esteem. This is who the Beatles have on their front cover as a figure they admire. No, worse, they put at the top. This is the same picture of the front cover in a mirrored form, and after some kaleidoscoping, you'll find this. Fellow Freemason Aleister Crowley sits at the top, and down the bottom there even appears the phallus with the testicles, and up here the vesica Pisces, also known as the vagina. Does this picture make more sense now? All Freemasons, yes indeed. And by the way, that's where Jay-Z got his symbol from Satanism, as portrayed here by Satanist and Freemason Aleister Crowley and by Satanic Church founder Anton LaVey. Does anyone still think that Freemasonry isn't Satanism in disguise? Let's finally take a peek into the royal art of Freemasonry. And this is the briefest way I can show you from the complete book of magic and witchcraft. This is a practitioner's manual, not from some bogus author trying to expose witchcraft. Just so you can get it through your head that this is real and this is protected. The writer or compiler of this God-forsaken book warns the reader that the recipes may seem disgusting, that the knowledge revealed has been forbidden, and has caused suffering and death to witches and the victims of witches. You don't think witchcraft was a serious menace in times past and present? Come with me, and I'll show you how bad this menace actually gets, as the world's most powerful and secret religion moves ever closer to fulfilling its biblical destiny, and it will. Close your eyes or not, it will fulfill its destiny. Firstly, let's connect this sick art straight to modern Freemasonry with the word abracadabra, both written in triangular form, from the Manual of Witchcraft and from the Encyclopedia of the Secret Society that your Prime Minister belongs to. And just like high-ranking Freemasons, male and female witches also drink out of a human skull. But here the practitioner drinks wine, in which they first dissolve or boil the brains or heart of an animal, before consuming it all from the human skull. In this ritual, the initiate is instructed to drink in the night at spring water, out of a skull of one that hath been slain. That's right, out of the skull of a human who's been murdered or sacrificed. Otherwise, eat a pig with a knife that slew a man. Please don't turn away. Look straight ahead and open your eyes to the planet you are on, because the real monster under your bed doesn't actually go away when you close your eyes. In other rituals of the craft, you burn a rooster while he's alive. With the use of a poisonous plant used in ointments and potions of witches, you can assure death and destruction on a victim. You want to make a female enemy sterile, or a male enemy impotent for the rest of his life? Otherwise, you can just kill them. The hand of glory is the severed hand that is dried and preserved to be used in black magic. Yes, a dead human hand. A black circle is most effective for operations of evil. The use of blood and sex in ritual was considered helpful for obtaining the necessary energy to successfully work magic or achieve mystical insight. But here's where the darkness thickens even further. Animals such as black cats or children may be sacrificed, and participants may drink the blood of the sacrifice. And just so you know that Stanley Kubrick wasn't joking, an orgy of participants sometimes follows the mass. No remorse, just science, the science of witchcraft, the royal art. And here, what's necessary for the working is the fat of young children, dead children. How many children do you think go missing in Australia every year? That's how many. And what about the world? Is it 1 million? Well, according to the International Centre for Missing and Exploited Children, it's 8 million children per year. Do you think that the highest, most absolute, and most divine knowledge of natural philosophy has anything to do with that? Any chance of an international secret system that is bolstered by initiations and degrees, and bound under the most brutal penalties that the human mind can ever devise? Do you think that has any involvement? Any chance of that? Am I saying that this Freemason has sacrificed children? No, I never said that. But did he ever even remotely mention the secret societies? Did he ever try to warn you? Educate you? No, he was under oath. Am I saying that these Freemasons, they're all under oath, sacrifice children? So where does this ancient craft originate from? It originates from the spirit realm, from spirit beings. That's who taught mankind the royal art before civilization began. In this chapter, The Rites of Satanism and Witchcraft, the manual explains that a typical satanic Sabbath was, number one, a homage to the devil, usually performed as the osculum infami, also known as the kiss of shame, which is so shameful that we'll just put it this way. The ritual involves kissing the hindquarters of the devil, the rear. Surely this is far removed from anything to do with Freemasonry. People, the original order of the Knights Templar were found guilty of this very same obscene ritual. And where do you find the modern variant of the Knights Templars of today? I told you, in the highest degree of Freemasonry, right here. Here's a couple of them now. And what's on this Templar's head? From the Masonic Encyclopedia, remember? A symbol of the Baphomet, according to 33rd degree Aleister Crowley. And we could confirm that in the Satanic Bible. That's exactly what's hiding deep inside of Freemasonry. I'm only showing you this to show you the reality of Satanism and the demonic realm, the world you can't see.
On this earth?
And in this earth and then in a world we can't see.
Look here. The hierarchy of demons occupies a more important place in both black and white magic rituals. Both black and white. This is where the power of witchcraft comes from. And this is the reason these bizarre rituals actually function and actually work. Because after the ritual is performed on earth, its effects are carried out to their conclusion in the spirit realm by spiritual beings or demons, actual demons. The reality that is hidden from you. Because if you found out that Satan was real, then that would have to make Jesus Christ real too. And he is the one they hate. And if Jesus Christ is real, that changes everything. And this is how much they hate him. The prayer that Jesus taught his disciples is performed backwards. The high priest is sometimes naked. A prostitute assists him, and a naked virgin, who may later be deflowered, is the altar. Everything that is sacred is defiled, and everything that is filthy is honored as pure. Because of their burning hatred of Jesus Christ, just as he's hated by the fallen angels that they worship. It gets worse when you hear what they use as a substitute for the bread that Jesus broke and told his disciples to eat in remembrance of him. A wafer which initiates me with this, this, and this. or the name of Satan may be written upon it. And this isn't even witchcraft, this is just a ceremony announcing who they love and who they hate. So is Satan real? It continues to state in the hierarchy of demons at the very top, Satanakia, whose title is the Commander-in-Chief. What did Bob Dylan, the Freemason, call the one he made a bargain with?
Should I ask who you made the bargain with?
with the chief commander.
Same title, Commander-in-Chief, Chief Commander. Are you following? But watch this. In case the darkness is getting a little too thick and encompassing for you, let's shine a little light. The true light that only the Gospels can supply. Speaking to us humans and revealing something about Satan, the Gospels state, you follow the spirit of the age in this world system as dominated by the commander of the spiritual powers of the air. Satan, the god of this world, the commander. You still think the Gospels are wrong or fake? See, Satanists know that the spirits also live in the air, just as the Gospels reveal. You can summon any of these demonic spirits by name if you possess the royal art. Who do you think this figure on the front cover represents? A magician who is inadequately prepared and cannot attain his desires may seek the aid of Satan. That's who this is. Now that you know, hopefully for a fact, that these are people at the top of the human food chain. Do you think they'd be fooling around with stupid fairy tales? No, witchcraft and Satanism is absolutely real, hence their earthly power. This demon here, fifth in the pyramid structure, holds the title of Inspector General. And what's the title of the highest degree in Freemasonry, who exists in every local lodge in every suburb, a suburb near you? Inspector General. Same title as the living demon. Do you believe me now? You can even conjure Lucifer himself, or be Beelzebub, who the Gospels call the Prince of the Devils. Both of whom are listed as superior spirits in this book of witchcraft and magic. I can show you so much more from this disgusting book, but I'll cut it off here with the seal of Saturn, a demonic sigil from the complete book of magic and witchcraft. And this is his seal. Can you see? Do you see? This is the society that lives amongst you, above you. The one-eyed religion of Freemasonry, hidden right in front of those who have their eyes wide shut. I'm going to now show you what that world that they are building from the ashes of the one you're currently living in looks like. But lastly, to drive this business of blood sacrifice home, here's American rapper Azealia Banks with the 666 hand sign, and now over the all-seeing eye in her video, the eye in the triangle of the Freemasons on her shirt, and the devil's horns, her liberator, her master, her commander. And now displaying the secret society vow of silence. Along with that, the last brief glimpse into the highly concealed royal art of Freemasonry.
The amount of crap that's about to come off my floor right now, guys. Oh my god. 3 years worth of brujeria. Yes, you know I gotta scrape all this shit up.
And what does brujeria mean? You know what it means. Witchcraft. Azealia Banks, the witch, with her eye in the triangle shirt, and the logo of, for example, the Grand Lodge of Freemasonry in Spain. One and the same symbol. The logo of the Fraternity of the Freemasons and the logo of this Church of Lucifer. The one eye. One and the same symbol. Freemasonry has deceived you. Yes, people, now you know how Satanism has functioned out of sight and out of mind. You still think there's no such thing as witchcraft? And swear that it only existed in the olden days? Look what they call each other from the Encyclopedia of Freemasonry. Master Mason, Grand Master, Most Eminent Grand Master, and the most appalling title of all, Most Worshipful Master. Most worshipful. Do you see how extra diluted the Christian Freemason has to be when Jesus said, "Do not be called master, because one is your master." And what about all those oaths? Don't worry, Jesus covered that too. What I tell you is this: do not put yourself under oath at all, but let your yes mean yes and your no mean no. How's that for an idea? But the Freemasons' yes means no, because they all swear to lie and conceal from the first degree initiation all the way through. What is whispered in your ear, proclaim it from the rooftops. That's Jesus. You see the contrast? How precise he was and still is. You think Bono and the Pope don't know about the Masonic calendar and how it's not the same calendar as ours? From the Encyclopedia of Freemasonry, the real date of the world is found by adding 4000 to the Vulgar era. This whole Christian era is Vulgar. So the year in the Masonic world is actually 6021. And this abbreviation is in French, the Vulgar era, beginning since the year of the Lord, since the year of Jesus Christ. That's how they feel about the current age, which is coming to a mind-blowing end by design.
Nawet nie odwołując się do wielkich potępień, możemy traktować przynależność do masonerii jak przynależność do innego ruchu religijnego, a to z definicji oznacza, no jak ktoś zmienia religię, no to prawo kanoniczne rzeczywiście mówi o pewnych skutkach. On mi odpowiadał, że nie. I po kilku miesiącach od wydania tej książki zaprosił mnie na tak zwane białe prace, czyli prace dla ludzi także spoza masonerii, żeby mu powiedział o świętym Pawle. Czy dokładnie
było takie zdjęcie, tak? Ty jesteś
tak,
w
ja
grupie
jestem
masonów.
Tak.
W fartuszkach.
Dlatego, że ja uważam, że jeżeli idzie się na takie spotkanie, to byłoby nieuczciwe wobec moich odbiorców udawanie, że go nie było. No byłem na nim, rozmawiałem.
Czyli to nie były tajne komplety.
Nie, to nie były tajne komplety, każdy może sprawdzić. Można też sprawdzić, że ja na tym zdjęciu nie mam fartuszka.
Why is it Freemasons wear this symbol? Even Gmail uses this.
Religii chrześcijańskiej, zastąpienie jej jakimś świeckim kultem natury. Z całej działalności sekty masońskiej wynika jasno, że wysila się ona przede wszystkim na to, aby Kościół katolicki zniszczyć i jego władzę obalić. Jak wiele już o nim napisano, wciąż ukrywa swe tajemnice, a jego członkowie milczeniem i przysięgą kryją prawdziwe zamiary. Pozorami cnoty usiłują zwodzić umysły, o czym mówił Kolbe, bo Kolbe widział pochód masonerii w 1917 roku zaraz pod lodżią Bazyliki Świętego Piotra, gdzie niesiono sztandary, transparenty, że papież będzie niewolnikiem szatana, że będzie rządził szatan Watykanem, Rzymem. Takie zuchwałe teksty, transparenty już ponad 100 lat temu masoneria niosła na rękach i to w dodatku na oczach świętego Maksymiliana Kolbe, który stworzył modlitwę, notabene za masonów. Wszystko wskazuje na to, że to oni, masoneria, kieruje ruchem, który z tak wielką zaciekłością podnosi bunt przeciw wszelkiej władzy religijnej. Z tych wszystkich względów potępiamy, zakazujemy wszelkiej przynależności do masonerii jako związku w najwyższym stopniu niegodziwego. Czy może być bardziej twarde potępienie najwyższym stopniu niegodziwego?
Trzeba zawsze pamiętać, bo przeważnie wszyscy zapominają o tym, że masoneria została potępiona przez Kościół już 100 lat temu. Aż dzisiaj żaden papież albo doktryna wiary nie powiedzieli, że to potępienie masonerii, które miało miejsce 100 lat temu, już nie obowiązuje. Zatem masoneria jest rzeczywistością ukrytą, która sprzeciwia się Kościołowi. Jest rzeczywistością przeciwko Bogu, ponieważ chcą uczynić świat z jednym tylko Panem i stworzyć własnego Boga. Tego Kościół nie może zaakceptować, ponieważ jest to czysty okultyzm, czysty satanizm. Trzeba pamiętać o tych sprawach. Odnosząc się do pytania, które zostało zadane, że ludzie nie wierzą w istnienie określonych umysłów, które realizują to wszystko, co teraz na świecie przeżywamy, powiedziałbym, że osoby, które to mówią, nie są zbyt dobrze poinformowane. Nie są nawet uformowane, ukształtowane kulturowo. Ponieważ wystarczy, żeby zaczerpnęli wiedzy i dokształcili się, bo istnieje wiele dokumentów, które można również znaleźć w internecie, mówiących o tym, że istnieją pewne umysły na świecie związane z masonerią, z okultyzmem, z satanizmem, które chcą zdestabilizować i skończyć ze wszystkimi wartościami chrześcijańskimi, judeo-chrześcijańskimi, którymi żyjemy od 2000 lat. Wystarczy spojrzeć na dokumenty ONZ. W ONZ jest mnóstwo dokumentów, w Chinach i w wielu innych miejscach, gdzie jest mowa o tym, że pewne osoby robią wszystko, by wyeliminować wszystkie wartości chrześcijańskie. Dzisiaj przeżywamy to, co w Europie i na całym świecie nazywa się ideologią gender. Jest to etap wdrożony z poziomu tych głów. Między nimi jest ONZ, Unia Europejska, Stany Zjednoczone. W istocie ideologia gender wchodzi po wszystkich faktach, założeniach feminizmu, rewolucji seksualnej z roku 1968. To są wszystkie etapy wdrażania aborcji, która zaczęła się w 1909 roku. To jest cała historia postępu ludzkości, którą oni budują, wszystkie programy, które wprowadzają na poziomie światowym, ponieważ ci ludzie mają pieniądze, posiadają gazety, ponieważ kierują mass mediami, ponieważ mają wpływy w internecie, więc doszli teraz do ideologii gender. Ideologii gender, która jest niszczeniem rodziny, czyli zakładają, musimy zrobić wszystko, by nie pozwolić, aby rodzina ustanowiona przez Boga przetrwała. Powstaje chaos. W głębi dusz, u podstaw tego, jaka jest idea, której zazwyczaj się nie ukazuje, nie ujawnia się i nie wszędzie się o tym mówi. Jeśli ci, którzy zaprzeczają, mówią, że to nie jest prawdą, że to wszystko nie jest wcale zorganizowane, wystarczy, by przeczytali książki Marksa. Przede wszystkim publikacje napisane w ostatnim okresie, przed jego śmiercią. Marx powiedział jasno, musimy stworzyć chaos na całym świecie, ponieważ tworząc chaos, całkowite zamieszanie, w następstwie niszcząc wszystko to, co religia chrześcijańska wypracowała do teraz, nastanie królowanie szatana, który stworzy swój porządek, będący totalnym zamieszaniem, morderstwem, śmiercią i tyle.
Mularze są dzisiaj wciąż aktywni. Oczywiście ich rekrutacja zmniejszyła się, ponieważ coraz więcej ludzi dowiaduje się o tym, ale wciąż są bardzo aktywni. Wciąż jest ich wielu. Kierują konkretną agendą i organizacjami, które się do nich przyłączają. Ich głównym celem jest armia i wojsko, wszystko co z tym związane. Dlatego widać tyle wolnomularzy w marynarce wojennej lub w armii. I ma to długą historię w tym zakresie. Oni są zaangażowani również w politykę. Są bardzo zaangażowani w dostarczanie nowych kandydatów do wejścia do polityki. Więc to są ich główne cele, na których się koncentrują. A jaka jest ich rola? W marynarce, w polityce, jaka jest ich rola? Głównie władza nad informacją. Zrozumiano. Agencje wywiadowcze, także polityka kontroluje przepływ informacji. Tak, kontrolują politykę niskiego poziomu, choć są tutaj połączenia z globalną polityką. Więcej jest iluminatów z czaszki i kości, która jest kamieniem węgielnym dla kosztu i frachtu i wszystkich globalistycznych organizacji, które z tego wynikają. Mamy też wyższy poziom, gdzie iluminaci chcą także zniszczyć chrześcijaństwo. Iluminaci działają w centrum wolnomularstwa, więc jest tu też bliskie powiązanie pod względem geopolityki. Dlatego większość prezydentów była wolnomularzami, jeśli byśmy popatrzyli na historię. Bohemian Grove daje zgodę na to, kto zostanie prezydentem z powodu globalnych konsekwencji, a to jest kontrolowane przez iluminatów jako organizację zależną, która do nich należy. Można zauważyć też wolnomularstwo działające w wielu niższych organizacjach inicjacyjnych, gdzie mają swoich ludzi. Może to być loża Elks Club czy Lions Club, takie organizacje niższego poziomu. I zawsze szukają tych rekrutów, by przyciągnąć ich do tego, co robią. A więc są bardzo aktywni w tym zakresie. Jak nowy porządek świata się osadza, a trzeba zrozumieć, że to było marzenie templariuszy, z którego pochodzą wszystkie nowoczesne organizacje, będąc konsekwencją pierwotnej organizacji templariuszy, by razem tworzyć centralną organizację, zbyt dużą i potężną, by znów upaść naraz. Dlatego mają teraz bardziej rozproszone podejście, więc tworzą organizacje bankowe, jak chociażby Rothschildowie. Mamy iluminatów, mamy wolnomularzy, mamy różnokrzyżowców, po prostu da się to rozdzielić. Gdy marzenie templariuszy zostało zapisane w ich tajnej konstytucji, chcieli zrobić dwie rzeczy. Po pierwsze, chcieli stworzyć nowy Babilon w ramach Kościoła rzymskiego, który przejęli jezuici, którzy z innej beczki stają teraz na czołowej linii nowego świata w badaniach. Prawdopodobnie nie uda się dzisiaj rozwinąć tego tematu. Ale wtedy marzenie templariuszy to było badać nowy świat i stworzyć nową Atlantydę albo platformę dla rządu światowego przez wyspowy kontynent, który odkrywają. I docierają tam jeszcze przed wszystkimi, więc Wyspa Dębowych Drzew jest odwiedzana przez Sinclairsów jeszcze przed tym, jak Kolumb odkrył Amerykę. A Kolumb wpływa tam na Santa Marii i jeśli dobrze pamiętam, pod flagą templariuszy, ponieważ otrzymał swoją informację o tym, jak dotrzeć do Ameryki Północnej właśnie od nich, którzy już tam byli. Templariusze nie zniknęli do tamtego czasu. Mieli wówczas inne organizacje, które będą kontynuować działalność w Portugalii i Hiszpanii, tylko pod inną nazwą. Więc to marzenie o skolonizowaniu Ameryki Północnej i Południowej jest kontynuowane przez ich badania. I to wszystko prowadzi do tego wielkiego końca czasów, w którym ta uniwersalna religia i ten jeden Mesjasz rządzi wszystkimi. Więc kiedy odbywają się migracje, nie mamy pierwszych synów rodzin królewskich i wysokich rodów, którzy migrują lub imigrują przez te migracje, ale powiedzmy trzecich rodzeństw lub drugich, albo wielu z nich. I to oni prowadzą zakładanie nowych miast. Są tam, aby ustanowić swoje legalne roszczenie do nowego kontynentu. I dla każdego miasta, do którego przybywają, zakładają rynek. Wszyscy znają ten termin. W starym rynku miejskim. I jak zobaczysz to zapisane, może nie zapisane na, ale widoczne w świątyni masońskiej, okno jest podzielone na 4 ćwiartki. I teraz to może oznaczać wiele różnych rzeczy. Ale w tym przypadku masz dokładne odniesienie się w rynku miejskim, gdzie można poprowadzić 2 osie. I na północnym i południowym końcu stawiają budynek prawny. Może to być sąd, może być to komisariat, może być to straż pożarna, może być to cokolwiek, co reprezentuje prawo dla osi północ-południe.
But there's not enough people in the Illuminati to run the world. So they need foot soldiers. And for foot soldiers, they use satanic covens and the Freemasons. They changed the way their structure was so that their hierarchy is set up like Freemasonry. And I know that there's a lot of people that when I started talking and you mentioned Freemasons or I mentioned Freemasons or Illuminati or Bohemian Grove, they switched the channel.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, conspiracy theory stuff, I'm not interested. However, there's a lot of more people that went, oh, conspiracy theory, let's pay attention. They will almost literally pull the levers and push the buttons of every political action that happens generally in first world countries, but they will do a lot of stuff in third world countries because they can promise things and they can deliver. You know, you use our program, you do the things we say to do, we'll help get you out of poverty. You know, will donate a certain amount of money to your country. So they have their hand in so many sinister stews. You know, it's like, because it's not just government that they rule. Almost every rock star, if you're famous, if you're played on the radio, if people know you, and not just in your home state, but in all the states, the Illuminati probably made you famous. You know, when Taylor Swift came out, I told people she's going to go the same route as Miley Cyrus and Britney Spears. And you're like, oh no, she's so nice and she's a Christian girl and my kids love her. And I feel like, oh no, she's Taylor Swift, clean cut girl. She's wonderful. So as you know, Taylor Swift admits that she does magic.
These groups You know, you mentioned the Bohemians or all these weird kind of cult things. It's often powerful people who are associated with them. All the stories about the Freemasons and and then you think, well, it says right there in the gospel that the devil is the prince of this world, and there are principalities and powers and spiritual wickedness in high places. So, not to get too far down the rabbit hole, but I've been convinced over the last 3 years that the difference between a conspiracy theory and the truth is about 6 to 9 months. Is that stuff just all true?
What stuff do you speak of?
That these weird societies that have weird black hoods that show up at these cocktail parties in Rome with the canapé and the champagne, that they actually exist and powerful people are parts of.
They do exist.
And they believe it.
I believe the elite are part of it. Would I say every rich person is involved? No. Like there's the St. Edwards out there.
Yep.
But I think at a certain level you get invited in, just like that doctor, right? And he's certainly not at that level. But there is a story I came upon about a year ago of a Swiss banker at the highest level of banking. So we're talking global banking of billions and billions and billions of dollars. And he was also brought into this whole group where they were doing human sacrifice. And he knew he was going to have to do it at some point. And so he went to a journalist and recorded everything. And he said in his, basically his story of what was going on, I don't expect to be alive in a week, but this has to be told. And 3 days later, he was found face down in a bog, dead. And, when that happens and somebody has the nerve to step up, you don't risk your life for something that's not true. Right?
De New York se tue au 33e étage, comme les 33 niveaux de franc-maçonnerie. En gématria, maçonnerie est égale à 33. Order et secrecy, aussi égale à 33. Quand tu vois 33, ça veut dire le rituel est en cours, c'est leur signature. Le crash d'Air India, 33 secondes après le décollage. Les émeutes à Los Angeles, 33 ans après celle de 92. Avec cette actrice qui fonce dans les flics. Les inondations aux États-Unis, 33 États touchés. Et pendant la fausse pandémie, c'était pareil.
On the rise in 33 states.
There are now 33 cases in Louisiana.
33 cas.
33 cases
33 positive cases in Arkansas.
33 Pennsylvanians who have tested positive for COVID-19.
We have 33 confirmed cases.
33 confirmed positive tests.
33 cases.
33 cases.
Le logo de l'ONU, 33 cases. Les emails de Clinton, 33 000 effacés. Beyoncé et sa voiture volante codée. BNCNTRY égale 33. Beyoncé égale 33. Trump, sa tour est inaugurée 33 ans avant son élection. Et la fausse fusillade à 3 mois, 3 semaines et 3 jours de l'élection. Sa casquette 45-47 pour les 2 mandats. 4 plus 5 est égal à 9. 4 plus 7 égale 11. 9-11. Les tours jumelles ont été détruites le 11 septembre 2001, 33 ans après leur construction. 9-11, c'est l'effondrement de l'ancien monde et l'invocation du nouveau. Tout est ritualisé.
You come to the lodge, they make you take off all your clothes except your undies. They put you in this like jammies. They're like, they're like pajamas. They're like, typically the one knee is bare and one breast is bare. Your left breast, and I think your right knee. And you're blindfolded. You have a cable around your neck. It's like a velvet, they call it a cable tow. It's like a velvet blue rope. And you're tied up. And you're led to the door of the lodge. And you've got a guy leading you, because of course you're blindfolded. He knocks on the door, and somebody this is all ritualized. And the guy on the other side says, "Who comes here?" And your guy who's guiding you, who's a lodge officer, he says, "Mr. Bill Sneblin, who has been long in darkness, and now seeks to be brought to light, to receive the rights and benefits of the worshipful lodge, erected to God as all members have done before." And I asked Mr. Christian, Mr. Pastor, Mr. Elder, because there's, like it used to be, I don't know if it still is, it used to be 40% of the pastors in a Southern Baptist convention were Freemasons. And how can you say that you're in darkness when you have Jesus in your heart? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then, that's not it. You go into the lodge, You're led around, like they call it circumambulation. You walk around the lodge. They have these officers, a junior warden, the senior warden at the different, things of the compass. And in the east is the worshipful master, who's like the big cheese. Then you're made to kneel at this altar. Again, you're still blindfolded. And you're made to understand that you're putting your hands on this huge, it's like a pulpit Bible, big King James Bible. And this guy comes forward, this worshipful master, and he says, we're going to lead you through this oath.
C'est rigolo leur truc. Monsieur, veuillez me suivre.
Qui frappe ainsi régulièrement à la porte du temple?
Général de maître, c'est un profane qui demande à être reçu maçon s'il en est jugé digne.
Frères, armez-vous de vos glaives. Faites entrer le profane. Laissez-vous, monsieur. Monsieur, cette épée que vous sentez sur votre poitrine est toujours levée pour punir le parjure. Elle est le symbole du remords qui déchirerait votre cœur si vous deveniez traître à la société dans laquelle vous voulez entrer. Est-ce de votre propre volonté, en pleine liberté, que vous vous présentez parmi nous? Oui, c'est une institution qui ne procède que d'elle-même. Elle prend sa force dans la raison. Persistez-vous toujours dans vos intentions? Êtes-vous bien déterminé à vous soumettre aux épreuves, quelles qu'elles puissent être? J'y consens. En ce cas, confiez-vous à la main qui va diriger vos pas. Mais, comme il serait imprudent de s'imposer des obligations dont on ne connaîtrait pas l'étendue, il est de la sagesse de cette respectable assemblée de vous dire quels seront vos devoirs si elle vous admet dans son sein. Le premier est un devoir absolu de secret sur tout ce que vous pourrez entendre et découvrir parmi nous, ainsi que sur tout ce que vous verrez et saurez par la suite. Je dois exiger de vous un serment, prêté sur la coupe des libations. Consentez-vous à le prêter? Oui.
Yeah, so they take a lot from the Bible and tried to make the Masonic lodge like the tabernacle or the temple. There's a lot of going around in circles. There's censers with incense, and they take some parts from Catholic Mass of repeating things in Latin, and it's very ritualistic. But there's a lot of symbolism, like the checkered floor representing duality, the black robe representing the ignorance as that you have before you go into the secret knowledge, which they would call light. 2 pillars. It's all very symbolic, and the things that you're doing in at least those initiation or great advancement rituals are a lot of words, it's kind of like theater, honestly, and incense, but it sees that there is power in the one true God and tries to rip from the Bible and pervert it and suck power out of it. And yet I was so deceived thinking, I didn't know the Bible, so I'm thinking, this is biblical. Great.
That was my approach. But I told myself, okay, you know what? I'm going to go into this with my eyes open. And if I see something that really jars my conscience, I'll leave. But it wasn't quite that simple. What I got out of it was something that I never got with my family, which was a sense of belonging. You see, because when they bring you into the craft, which is another term for Freemasonry, they love bomb you. And that's by design. They make you feel special. They make you feel like you're called, like you're beyond the norm. And there's also that secret aspect, I think, that appeals to people. in that they're doing things behind closed doors, and you get to be part of the quote-unquote elite of society. Even though I was at the absolute bottom of the basket, it made me feel special. It made me feel like I was part of something bigger than myself. When I was initiated to the rank of entered apprentice, after the initiation, they give you all the secret grips and the codes, and they also give us a little yellow prayer cardboard. And they told us to do this prayer specifically on Saturday night. And so, you know, everything I'd seen to that point was kind of weird, but I was just going with it. So when that first Saturday night came and I did that prayer, I saw something out of the corner of my eye, like a distortion, similar to what you'd see on a really hot day on asphalt. And it just moved across the room. So without really realizing what I'd done, I seemed to have opened a portal. Though there may have been demonic activity before that, I was just bringing this to a whole new level. And I noticed almost immediately that there were effects that I hadn't connected right away. The worshipful master of lodge, who was like the president of the club, so to speak, was telling us that during the lodge meetings, you know, we're just here to distract you so that your spiritual pit crew can work on you. Unbeknownst to me, that meant that they were inviting demons to come in. I wasn't getting any better. And if anything, I was experiencing a strange feeling of dread because I and about, I think, 2 other people were marked as rising stars in the craft, in that we really took to the program and we were advancing faster than most of the other people. And they really wanted me to become a lodge officer. And it felt in my spirit almost like something dark was sinking its claws into me. And for a time I gave in, and I did do some work in the lodge as an officer for the opening and closing rituals. And it's such a bizarre feeling. You know how when you go to church, some people say that they can really feel the presence of God? Well, there was something similar here, but it wasn't peaceful. It was almost like you drank 1 too many Red Bulls and you were really wired. Whenever I would serve in the lodge as an officer, that night I wouldn't be able to sleep. I would just toss and turn all night like a switch was turned on. And again, I didn't make that connection that these things were evil. To me, it was just spiritual. I think it appeals to 2 types of people. One are people who are spiritually seeking, so to speak. People like me who are not intending to do wrong. They just want to learn, they just want to grow spiritually, and they think that Freemasonry is the way to go. And the other category of people who are drawn to this are people who crave power. Because most Masonic lodges, whether you realize it or not, are only have about 28 to 30 members. That's the average across the city. And so it's really easy to move up into the ranks and get a position as an officer of the lodge and even as a worshipful master. So those people who crave power have the perfect setup for them. When I was initiated to the Fellowcraft degree, the 2nd degree, I was also taking weekend workshops with the Grand Master because he was offering these workshops not only to Freemasons, but to anyone who felt called spiritually, so to speak. One of the workshops that I did was called the Knights Templar, and it was held out for 5 weekends, I think 1 month apart. And the last one was the initiation. And without going into too much graphic detail, it was an extremely stressful event, and this was by design. You see, because what they do is they love bomb you initially. They make you think that everything is wonderful, that you're perfect, that you're progressing marvelously, and then when you're defenses are down, they attack you. They'll attack you verbally, and the entire weekend of the initiation was people being attacked and verbally abused by the Grand Master. And he would have people perform degrading acts during these ceremonies. There was low-level torture going on. And for me, it struck a nerve, because that really hit me hard. And the people that I thought I could trust were ready to betray me at the drop of a hat. And so at this point, I was starting to become disillusioned with the Freemasons. I actually wrote out a resignation letter, and I was ready to give it in, but at the last minute, I chickened out deep. So this is all by design, because they are trying to attach demons to you. And one of the ways that you can bring demons in is by having someone experience sustained, stressful, traumatic events. And especially if you can do that repeatedly, it's almost like it creates fissures in your spirit that allow other things to come in, to take root in you. And you don't see that immediately. Although I started experiencing more paranormal activity at that point, those points of light that I saw previously, during one Knights Templar weekend workshop, those things were all over the place. It was like fireflies. So demonic activity was on the rise, and some of these things had gotten a hold of me. Because I came from an abusive background, I had normalized this kind of behavior. And they even told us that this was for our greater good, that the abuse, or at least what we termed abuse, what we were experiencing, was a way to bring us to spiritual elevation. So I saw that as part of the process. I never saw it straight ahead as full-out abuse. And I think that that's also the result of demonic activity. Demons can bring a veil down over you so that even when the truth is right in front of you, you don't see it.
So you didn't see it as evil, what they were doing?
No, I saw it as a means to an end, because what Freemasonry teaches, among other things, is that you can condense this life so that in the next life you move up to a different level. The abuse, the stress, all the bad things that you experience will fall away, and eventually you just become more and more spiritual.
When is the top of the food chain actually just Satanism?
Okay, so the reason why they have multiple degrees and different rites, it's a little bit like a denomination in Christianity. They have different degrees. So let's say the rite of Memphis Misraim will have 90 degrees, York Rite will have 7, and the ancient and accepted Scottish Rite, which I was a part of, had 33 public degrees. And the reason why they don't take you to the top immediately is they know that if they show you what ultimately is behind Freemasonry, you'll bolt and you'll get out of there faster than anything you can imagine. People will just run away. So the idea is to boil people gradually, immerse them. And as those evil spirits take root in that person and sufficiently blind them, then by the time they get to the top, it's too late. They're invested.
And so when you say what's behind Freemasonry, what is behind that door?
Freemasons worship a god, a demon, we should say, who we see in the Old Testament. He was often referred to as Moloch, and I think the Philistines worshipped him as Dagon. So this is an entity that goes way back. that ancient Israel had lots of problems with. And this is also the god of child sacrifice, which is why when you get up higher into the degrees, which I didn't go, one of the things you were asked to do is pledge your future offspring to them. So that's a form of child sacrifice.
Czy są wolnomularze, którzy wychodzą z tej organizacji? Wielu z niższych poziomów wychodzi, dopóki nie staniesz się adeptem. Później już raczej nie. Nie mówię, że to się nie zdarza, bo zdarza się, tak jak niektóre rodziny mogą odejść. Ale jeśli jesteś adeptem lub członkiem rodziny krwi, która odeszła, możesz być w ciągłym niebezpieczeństwie przez resztę swojego życia, więc absolutnie nie jest to postrzegane pozytywnie. Ale jeśli jesteś na niższym poziomie, to mówią, że jesteś przeciętniak i tak nie jesteś tego warty. Nie chcą, żebyś odszedł, ale jest łatwiej odejść. Zrozumiano. A kiedy mówimy o wolnomularstwie, czuję, że często jest ono kojarzone z czarownictwem. Czy to w ogóle odzwierciedla rzeczywistość? Jaki jest w ogóle problem w byciu w wolnomularstwie, jeśli na początku wszystko jest w porządku? Tak, no więc czarownictwo, rzemiosło, jak nazwane jest wolnomularstwo, to ten sam system wierzeń i ta sama religia. Druidyzm to politeizm, który rozumiemy jako to, skąd pochodzą czarownice, które są po prostu kapłanami lub kapłankami religii druidycznej, więc to tak samo jak magowie, tak jak brahmani, to samo, tylko różne terminy na to samo. A więc wielu wolnomularzy to czarownicy. Dlaczego? Ponieważ są adeptami. Wysokiej rangi czarownicy to wysokiej rangi kapłani, adepci w religii. I to jest religia, która jest częścią gnostycyzmu. Patrzą na druidyzm na równi z kapłanami druidów, jak z pradawnymi brahmanami, kapłanami Egiptu, sofistami w Grecji, magami w Mezopotamii. Uważają, że to wszystko to ta sama religia. Więc gnostycyzm to religia, którą otrzymujemy jako wychodzącą z średniowiecza, choć zaczyna się już w czasach Jezusa i kilka wieków wcześniej, łącząc różne religie w pierwotną religię, która później tworzy teozofię, Boga mądrości. Sofia, czyli matka bogini gnostycyzmu, stworzyła 12 archontów, a Sofia to słowo oznaczające mądrość w Grece. I tak filozofia to miłość do Sofii, miłość do bogini, miłość do wiedzy, jakby to przetworzyć przez nasz język. Gnostycyzm produkuje teozofię, która prowadzi do ruchów New Age.
My research later on, I found the writings of a Rosicrucian whose name escapes me, and part of the minutes of that meeting, which was held in the early 20th century, he quite literally said that all the secret societies are linked. They all have a common core. So no matter what you see, if you see a Freemason or a Martinist or a Rosicrucian, fundamentally the teachings are all the same.
Jedno, co ich łączyło i było takim wyznacznikiem, będziemy bogami. Tylko że różokrzyżowcy w części znacznej akcentowali tutaj kwestie duchowe, prawda? Że będą pracować nad sobą, że zostaną bogami w sensie duchowym. Natomiast w masonerii coraz bardziej, pojawiły się środowiska, tak by można powiedzieć, które coraz bardziej myślały o swojej boskości tu na ziemi. Prawda? Czyli władza, pieniądze, rządy dusz, wielki mistrz, dzisiaj honorowy, Wielkiej Loży Narodowej Polski, profesor Tadeusz Cegielski, mówi nam najbardziej, czy przede wszystkim zależy na rządach dusz, prawda? No bo oni chcą być bogami, więc chcą mieć wszystko to, co Bóg. No, chcą mieć kult samego siebie, chcą być panami i prawodawcami, chcą mieć pełnię władzy. I to marzenie było od początku i doktryna była jakby wciąż taka sama.
But Albert Pike describes Jabulon as a symbol of the infinite and eternal Godhead, a mongrel word whose name has been for 2,000 years an appellation of the devil. On the 14th of July 1889, Albert Pike issued these instructions to 23 Scottish Rite Supreme Councils throughout the world. We worship a God, but it is the God that one adores without superstition. To you, Sovereign Grand Inspectors General, we say this, that you may repeat it to the brethren of the 30th, 31st, and 32nd degrees. The Masonic religion should be the Luciferian doctrine. Lucifer is God. the true and pure philosophical religion is the belief in Lucifer. So, Yarbulon is really an alternative name for the devil. The last syllable, on, is a code name for the ancient Egyptian god Osiris, who was the god of the dead. There can be no doubt that the Scottish Rite form of Freemasonry in America and Britain is controlled by high-ranking 33rd degree Masons who worship Satan or Lucifer as their god.
Mon vieux, vous ne serez pas le premier maçon qui m'aura ouvert son cœur. Qu'est-ce qu'on vous a fait?
Mais à moi, personnellement, rien. Mais je trouve ce milieu maçonnique...
Pourri d'arrivistes écœurants. Je vous l'accorde.
Ah, je ne vous le fais pas dire.
Oh, croyez-vous que je sois dupe?
Alors je ne comprends pas. Tant de vertus affichées sur le programme à la porte. Tant de mystères à l'intérieur pour ne cacher que ces petites combines, ces appétits de comitard. Je m'attendais à trouver des hommes dévoués, sinon supérieurs. Au lieu de ça, je n'ai rencontré que des quémandeurs de bureaux de tabac ou de décoration. Ou alors des fripouilles qui cherchaient à m'utiliser pour échapper à des condamnations. En dehors d'eux, des phraseurs, des sectaires, ignorant tout, ne connaissant rien de l'histoire de leur pays, rien de l'histoire du monde, rien de la politique, rien de la philosophie, rien. Ah, des cerveaux vides, mais des dents longues, et des langues folles. Et c'est cela qui gouverne la France.
Quel grade avez-vous maintenant?
J'ai été initié à la maîtrise il y a peu de temps.
Eh bien, si vous avez le courage de vivre encore quelques années dans la médiocrité des ateliers bleus, vous passerez ensuite aux ateliers supérieurs.
C'est mieux?
C'est autre chose.
Voyons, vous êtes 33e, n'est-ce pas? C'est le grade le plus haut dans la maçonnerie.
Mon petit Avenel, je vais vous révéler, quoique je ne le doive pas, ces fameux secrets maçonniques dont on fait tant de mystères. En maçonnerie, on cache tout aux petites gens. En bas, vous ne savez rien. En haut, vous commencez à voir un peu plus clair dans le jeu mondial. Moi-même, je ne suis pas totalement éclairé sur les intentions des dirigeants de notre ordre. Et quand je dis dirigeants, je me trompe. Il n'y a pas de chef chez nous. Il n'y a que des exécutants. Je suis un pion sur un échiquier, j'accomplis une fonction. Je reçois des messages. J'obéis. Je transmets. J'agis.
Mais qui dirige?
Personne. C'est beaucoup plus compliqué et simple en même temps qu'on ne pense. Qu'est-ce que la maçonnerie? Des groupes d'hommes qui se sont réunis aux quatre coins de l'univers pour enserrer le monde dans un réseau aux mailles infranchissables. Nous sommes 50 000 en France, 500 000 en Angleterre, 3 millions en Amérique, c'est peu. Mais c'est énorme, parce que nous formons un bloc uni d'une seule volonté. Nous rayonnons partout, nous commandons partout. Ici, 300 parlementaires sont francs-maçons. En Angleterre, le roi fait partie de notre ordre. Aux États-Unis, le président est 32e. Il n'y a pas un pays où nous n'ayons nos appuis secrets, nos hommes, nos banques, nos groupes dévoués. Et ceci n'est rien. Je ne vous montre là de la maçonnerie que la puissance physique. Il y a peut-être autre chose.
Mais quoi?
Une doctrine supérieure. Une antique expérience des forces du monde qui nous permet de pousser les peuples tantôt vers la vie, tantôt vers la mort, quand il le faut.
La mort? Je croyais la maçonnerie attachée à la paix.
À une certaine paix. Notre paix. Sinon, alors, cette démission?
Trump meeting Japan's new Prime Minister, and take a look at the symbolism. This is the Freemasonic Royal Arch. Checkerboard floor, 2 pillars and an archway. Checkerboard floor, 2 pillars and an archway. People are ignorant if they don't understand this. They're showing you they are occultists. That does not mean they're inherently evil, it just means they study the occult. They study the hidden, unseen aspects of the human psyche.
Et ainsi nos frères réduisent à l'esclavage. Jamais nous n'avons été plus près. En 15 jours, nous réglerions le sort de l'Allemagne. Notre loi régirait l'Europe définitivement. Notre victoire est sûre. C'est faux. C'est faux. Silence. Ce que dit cet homme est faux. Mon frère, je vous rappelle alors, vous n'avez pas la parole. Je le sais. Je suis député et membre de la commission de la défense nationale. Je ne peux pas laisser se prolonger un discours aussi manifestement erroné. L'appréciation de monsieur... De notre frère, les Dichter. Oui, si vous voulez. Sur l'état de l'armée que possède l'Allemagne sont des mensonges. Et ajoutez-vous à cela de la stupidité. Mais pourquoi vouloir une guerre entre l'Allemagne et la France? Mon frère, vous n'avez pas la parole. Peu m'importe. Mais je tiens à dire qu'aucun motif réel de conflit ne peut être invoqué. Vous le direz tout à l'heure, après l'exposé de notre frère. Non, je le dirai immédiatement, avant d'entendre des stupidités bellicistes. Mais vous tous, maçons, vous poussez à la guerre. Pour que ce pays soit gouverné par vos lois, par les Juifs et la maçonnerie surtout. Le peuple français ne se battra pas pour défendre une idéologie fumeuse, un régime ignoble, une république pourrie. Mon frère Abnel, je vous prie de couvrir le temple. Vous êtes tous des menteurs et des faussaires. Tout chez vous n'est qu'une sinistre comédie. Plutôt, ça fait moins de bruit.
Attention, voilà.
Un instant, je vais voir si... Mes frères,
Ne t'inquiète pas, mon
nous
cher.
pouvons affirmer en toute sérénité que la franc-maçonnerie universelle a présentement atteint son but. Cette guerre qui est la nôtre est déclarée. Elle doit aboutir au triomphe de notre ordre. Il importe que le monde soit définitivement gouverné selon nos méthodes et par nos idées. Debout et alors. Frère premier surveillant, à quelle heure ferme-t-on les travaux?
À minuit, vénérable maître.
Quelle heure est-il, frère second surveillant?
Minuit, vénérable maître.
Puisqu'il est minuit et que nous avons accompli notre œuvre, je déclare les travaux clos à mon paillet. Retirons-nous en paix, mes frères, sous la loi du silence.